I'm a big believer that if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So I have 8 questions here from the National Institutes on Aging that I'm going to use to calculate how long you're going to live. And your job at lunch here is to answer those questions by raising your hand if they apply to you. So 8 simple questions. First question, raise your hand if you sleep at least 7.5 hours at least 5 nights a week. 7.5 hours, 5 nights a week. Okay, most of you. Raise your hand if you move at least 45 minutes a day. And that could be walking, biking, gardening, walking around Lake of the Isles. Raise your hand if you eat at least 3 honest servings of vegetables every single day, and French fries and ketchup do not count. 3 honest servings. And the one at lunch counts. Raise your hand if you have not, and I underscore not, had unprotected sex with a stranger. Kara, you should have your hand up. I like you guys already. I never answered that question. These are real questions, by the way. Okay, raise your hand if you belong to a faith-based community and you show up at least 4 times a month. Belong to a faith, it can be Christian, Muslim, Jewish, doesn't matter, Catholic. All right? Raise your hand if you have at least 3 good friends who, number 1, you can have a meaningful conversation with. Number 2, you can call them on a bad day and they'll care. And number 3, you actually like them. There we go. That's Minnesota. Easy question. Raise your hand if you've not smoked in the last 5 years. Not smoked in the last. Okay, almost all. Good way to go. Final question. Raise your hand if you have the desire and the physical capacity to reach age 90. You actually want to make it 90 years. All right. That's actually the biggest predictor of how long you're going to live, according to the National Institutes on Aging. So do you remember how many times you raised your hand? For those of you who raised your hand at least twice, if you're a man, your life expectancy is 67, and if you're a woman, it's 71. If you raise your hand at least 5 times and you're a man, life expectancy is 79. And if you're a woman, it's 83. And if you raise your hand at least 7 times and you're a man, your life expectancy is 88. And if you're a woman, it's 92. Did anybody raise their hand all 8 times? Anybody raise their hand all 8 times? Could you guys stand up? Come on, own it. Let's give them a huge Minneapolis Foundation round of applause.